Hello and welcome to any combo lords who pop by or watch this in the future. Thought it was a good afternoon. It's Clocktober 14th right now, and thought I might as well do some more streaming for some behind the scenes questions and answers, stories, hints about my upcoming videos, and so on. Hello to Seb, and as well a hello to Black Skeleton if they pop in. Welcome to all of my combo lords, and so much thanks as usual. I'm feeling thankful right now because on my main channel, where I put my passion project stuff, although I like to stream and do my short videos on this bonus channel, on my main channel, that's really where I get my heartfelt full projects out to teach things and to fully experiment artistically in my classroom. And the latest video I put up there about the topic of tetration and other hyperoperations that live beyond exponentiation actually has done far better than all the other ones before on the channel. I think the algorithm just really liked that one, mixed with maybe people liked the thumbnail or the title more, but I didn't treat it differently than my other episodes, and it is blowing up way faster. So, yay to my main channel. That's always been a goal of mine. Like, I like making short videos, but I don't really watch that many short videos. But I've watched YouTube videos in the normal horizontal format of people making their own videos on there since practically when it came out. Been in love with the idea of YouTube. I mentioned once on here maybe that when I was at my friend's house when I was in my early teenage years when YouTube first came out, I remember him mentioning, like, hey, there's a cool video you should see. And it was just somebody like falling off a balcony or hurting themselves or something. And I was like, wow, there's something brilliant about the fact that that was a random home video. I make random home videos, and that one's up somewhere for anyone to see. They didn't need some Hollywood studio, they didn't need some grant or some giant company. They were able to just put the video out. And so, for all of the little flaws that YouTube does maybe have in their management process that they're still figuring out, I think it's a magnificent concept, and I've always wanted to have people watching my long YouTube videos. And I've stumbled around through life making a lot of weird side channels. I'll share with you guys more at some point. There are some that are musical, there are some that are comedic, and there's a variety of stuff. But you know how it goes when you post random videos, even when you show your friends and you give them catchy titles and stuff, you might only get 50 views because there's a billion people making videos out there. And so this one that's blowing up right now, I'll have to check my phone in a minute, but it's getting close to 10,000 views, which I'm super happy about. I actually have kind of a hard time. This is a little mental tangent anecdote, but ever since I went through a very dark phase a year or two ago, I have a hard time feeling proud of things because I had a lot of self hate that I unfortunately still cling on to, that I'm still getting rid of. And so I have trouble feeling pride in the normal way, but I get little glimmers of it, and I'm going to therapy for stuff like that. And I do get little glimmers of the feeling of genuine pride when I know that people learned something from one of my videos. And so that's pretty awesome. I'll have to check in a minute if it's shot past 10,000 or not. But in any case, that will help me feel pride and help me stay motivated on my quest to make a short video any day possible and or live stream and make a long one, try and getting them out every week, even if I have to edit a bunch myself, spend all my savings hiring friends, and so on. Let me pop by the comments. Seb's saying some enjoyment of the older ones getting recommended. Um, and everything should be something I'm proud of, which I appreciate. Thank you. It's more of a personal mental issue that I don't have the right way of feeling proud these days, but I do have, ironically, despite not having the same type of pride of some people, I do have a lot of almost cockiness in my passions, and I do think that my art's going to go far. So I'm not surprised when one of my videos does well, but it does feel like something I've been working very hard for a long time that does sometimes come quicker than you expect and at more random times than you expect. Um, so that's all pretty cool. I have a lot more full episodes coming soon, and a few previews of the chaos that have been going on. Now that we're probably in about the second half of grade -1, I think mentally the breaking of my desk that occurred pretty recently in the rain probably is a good approximate halfway point for this grade. Where now that the desk's broken, there's a lot more inherent chaos. There's already a lot of chaos in the classroom because I kind of just like turn around and move quickly sometimes, and there's a lot of clocks ready to get knocked off of shelves and stuff. But now that the desk is diagonal, there's a lot more just inherent chaos. So, like, there's my desk, and so say I'm making an old fashioned phone call on an old phone, and I'm like, okay, talking to the viewer, let's just put that down on my desk. Should be normal. Nope, my desk's slanted. So, because of that, and because I find it kind of funny, so I still like let myself treat it like a normal desk, even though it doesn't function like a normal desk. Um, the last few full episodes I filmed have a bit of chaos. When I was demonstrating threeven numbers and their relationship to tertiary colors and the way that colors develop and combine in reality, uh, I got a lot of paint on me. And this is inside out right now, the lab coat, because both sides have different amounts of different type of damage. Here's with the little dice that got fused on there when I burnt a clock. It's in the intro to my Clock Quest one. And we also got a lot of paint on the desk and on whiteboards and stuff. And then when I was filming yesterday, quick run through of what we got coming on the main channel is the next one is about infinite continued fractions and how if you try and approach things like irrational numbers like the square root of 2, maybe even though we have to make it infinite to express whether we use a decimal or fraction, there are ways to make an infinite fraction with an awesome finite pattern within it that can be described in a finite way due to its pattern. So we're going to look at infinite continued fractions in a few days on the main channel. And then we're next week after that, about a week after I drop that, I'm trying to get them out once a week. We have a full dive into my first pitch about why the word threeven needs to be in the dictionary. I know I've made short videos about this, but I have a lot more to say about the topic. Probably going to write a whole book about the topic. And so this is maybe a 10-minute-ish or so first primary pitch before I start doing more drafting of a whole book and a petition to get threeven in the dictionary. Now, for those who are doubting that I can get a word in the dictionary or help contribute to a societal phenomena that wants to get a word into a dictionary, don't worry. They have added ridiculous words to the dictionary. They've added dad bod to the dictionary, yeet, sus. They've added a lot of stuff to the official dictionaries. I think we can get threeven in. So stay tuned for that episode too. And then finally, the last one I've filmed so far for the main channel, which I filmed yesterday, that one involves more modular arithmetic and a return to my clock quest to explain some fun magic tricks with clocks and weekdays that relate to modular arithmetic tables. Now, when that was happening, I was talking about clocks a lot, and I decided to use my largest clock a lot right here. Now, I don't know if any of you recognize this clock from any past videos, but it used to have a glass pane on it. I should still be really careful touching it. When I grab it, I shouldn't do it from this side because there could be little bits of glass sticking out still. All of the glass shattered off this. I cleaned up all of it, I think, because my cats come back here, so I had to clean all the glass right after. But there could be some shards I have to still get because yesterday there was a few shatterings. The first shattering, as you'll see in the episode, this clock landed face down, and although it made a shattery noise, I didn't know it broke. I thought it just like broke something smaller or something. And then later in the episode, when I go to use the clock again, I lifted it up and just like glass starts falling out. And I'm like, oh, so that's in another one coming soon. Now that I've done my primary ranting, as well as one more time, thank you all to anyone here who's going to watch this in the future. I love you all. Combo Class is a place of not only learning, not only fun types of chaos that contribute to learning, but love. And I love you all. So let me take a peek through these comments and see if we got any comments going on. I also want to do a quick warning that last time when my neighbor, like, I don't know, would set their weed whacker on tetration mode or something, or something happened in the neighbor's yard that was causing this dusty storm of all this grass dust to just fly here, and I had to switch zones, and then my internet acted weird. If anything weird happens today, I'm warning you guys, I might have to stop the stream and we'll probably restart another stream. Last time it was accidentally a whole trilogy because I wasn't able to figure out when the stream died how to turn back on the webcam without restarting it. I'm not a tech whiz. I like reading paper books. I like writing on my whiteboards out in my dirt. So I'm not a tech whiz. Sorry, guys. Someday I'll hire someone so I don't mess up all the streams. But just a warning. Let me take a peek through these comments because I like checking if anyone has any fun words and or questions. We got somebody asking a math problem, possibly related. I don't know if it's homework or just a problem they're curious about. Sorry, I'm not going to solve that polynomial right now. Maybe if we hit a really boring part of the stream, I'll come back to that polynomial. Someone said they hope I'm not homeless. No, I live with my family right now. So my parents and my brother live in that house there. And we share the yard with some other houses that are currently rented out, but just some cool strangers share the yard with us with some nearby little houses. So we have a little setup that we're able to afford. But no, my parents are lower middle class and we survive fine. So I'm not broke or anything. Far from rich either. I haven't made a cent from Combo Class. I teach private music lessons and spend like all my extra savings from there on Combo Class, hiring people, buying props, stuff like that. So far from rich. I am very poor, if anything, but my family is lower middle class. We do okay. I live with my parents right now, and my parents are cool enough to have let me kind of take over, in addition to the tiny little room I have indoors, take over a small corner of the yard, far enough from all the other houses that it's not interfering with the neighbors we share the other yard with. And in my little corner, back here behind that little building and in this zone is my combo classroom for grade -1. We could evolve classrooms. I imagine hopefully we will have this always as a place to return. But for all we know, I might get some grant and have a cool warehouse to start off grade -2. And then maybe I'll get kicked out of the warehouse and have to return here at the end of the grade. So see you next year. Someone's asking, is it evening here? Because it's all sorts of times around the world. It is slightly after 1 p.m. right now. It's about to hit or just hit what you could call 1:15. Although, as we'll explore in Clock Quest episodes on my main channel and side channel, 1:15 isn't less syllables than 1:15. Are there any that are less syllables? Well, I figured some out, but you might have to use unconventional methods to make your nicknames have less syllables. Some of them even have more syllables and work pretty poorly, the nicknames we use. Same with half past is the same amount of syllables as 30. Some of them are even worse, like I said. We'll explore better nicknames as I mentioned, on my main channel. Every couple episodes will be clock centered. And one of the upcoming ones about that's the modular arithmetic table one that I filmed yesterday, involving another clock shattering. We will dive into some cool modular tables because mod 2 has like traits about evens and odds. Mod 3 has traits about threevens and throds. Mod 6 has traits about both the even oddness and the threeven throdness. Mod 10, boring, sucky. We live in base 10. Enough mod 10. Not as cool as the other mods. Mod 12, cool, lives on clocks. Mod 24, how many hours are in a day? Mod 7, I can make fun magic tricks about weekdays. Mod 60, how many minutes are on a clock? So those are the main tables we'll take a peek at soon. But Also, I want to get in touch with more editors. If anyone happens who's watching this to know any editors who want to try editing any episodes, like at first just for credit, but theoretically I could pay in the future. Um, I need to work with more editors because my friends are busy and I get friends to edit random ones, and I also edit them myself. But the less that I need to edit the episodes, the more I can study math and come up with crazy ideas. So, if anyone also just wants to help out with the combo dream in any way, remember combo university at gmail, which is also linked on the channels as a contact link, is a place you can contact me if you want to help out with spreading the combo love. um any other comments are saying I just enjoy ranting a lot. Yes, I do. That's true. I like to go on long tangents, and that's why I think that streaming could be a fun thing for my future. I'm sticking them just on this bonus channel a couple times a week for now, but maybe as things go on, I'll pick a particular couple days of the week, have those be my streaming times, and I might try and do them on different parts of my day so people across the world or in different time zones have a better chance of being live in one. So I'll probably pick one day where I do it in like my early afternoon and one day where I do it in like my evening or something. The evening streams might be funny because when it gets dark here, I have to try and light candles and stuff and chaos. I'm gonna have to look up the terms of service on here because I don't want YouTube to start like age restricting me or anything. This channel is entirely for educational purposes. I do chaotic things, but it is not telling people to try and light anything on fire, lean on crooked desks, play with clocks that are hung in dangerous places. Don't do any of that. I'm the one who does that for your learning. So hopefully YouTube doesn't go age restricty or anything on my videos. If anyone from YouTube ever sees this channel's for learning. I only do the crazy stuff so people get interested enough to keep watching and learn math. So, and because I like doing crazy stuff, but I do it safely, believe it or not. Um, Now, someone says it's hard to believe I'm bad at tech. I'm good at whatever tech I want to figure out. So, like right now, I'm good at whatever editing softwares or camera softwares or music related softwares are applicable to me. As far as things that I don't use much, I just don't use that much technology. So, like, when I first like try and chat with you guys in different ways or start other sites, it's a whole new process of me figuring it out. Whole new thing when I decided to start posting on TikTok because I don't use TikTok. Whole new thing when I decided to start posting on YouTube Shorts because I don't watch on YouTube Shorts. So I know everything about posting a normal YouTube video, but like live, that's new to me. I always have been ranting for the camera, but these are some of my first times doing it live. I actually did it a few times on the TikTok too, because that was where I first started posting short videos. And I actually have the most amount of combo lords following me there. We have like 31,000 subscribers on the TikTok, but I'm more proud of the YouTube ones, honestly, because that's what I enjoy as a viewer. And that's kind of my dream that I can imagine really continuing in the future. Although, if anyone who enjoys TikTok more is watching, check out that page. I do post the shorts from here there as well. And some of the ones on the bonus channel here are still reposts of my past month or two because I started this bonus channel pretty recently, like 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, or something. And so a couple of them were filmed in different times between April of this year and now, but I'm pretty much caught up. I actually saved a few of the TikToks that did best on there to post last that I'll be posting on this bonus channel soon. Weirdly enough, there's a few on the TikTok that have gotten millions of views. There's one where I did a divide by zero error on the calculator that has like 3.5 million views or something, probably more now. And so some just did crazy on the TikTok. Uh, you never predict if those are the same ones that do good on the YouTube shorts or not. Algorithms like that are weird. And that's why if anyone who is making their own content sees this, you should know that some of my recommendations are don't try and make money off it right away. I haven't even worried about like, am I ready to monetize yet? Because you want to just be passionate about what you do. Those are the people who are going to end up having followers and probably money in the future are people who just really enjoy a project. And you do need to be able to dedicate a lot of time to it. But if you have enough time to dedicate to something, you can do it really low budget too. Like my titration episode, fun fact, if you look at the credits, the person credited as cameraman in the credits is my mom. I love my mom. My mom, Penny, and I call my parents by their first name. I always have since I was a kid. I call them Penny and Mark. People think it's a sign of disrespect that I call them by their first names. I'm just weird. I did it since I was a baby, so they let me and it stuck. So I don't really go like mom, dad, or whatever. I call them Penny and Mark, but not as a sign of disrespect. My mom helped me film the titration episode, and she is awesome, one of the coolest people ever. She always helps me with my stuff when she can. She has her own problems physically and other stuff, but she still always is there to help me when she is able to. And so one time she was able to help me is film my whole titration episode. I edited the entire thing myself. I edited that one on iMovie, even though I had to go through all these loopholes to get it perfect, spending hours and hours messing because iMovie is not actually as easy as something like Final Cut due to the things it doesn't let you do that you have to like loophole to dodge and make it work the way you want to make it work. But for various reasons, I had that episode just filmed by my mom, edited completely myself, soundtracked myself. All the beats are mine. Everything in it, all the assets, the intro and outro are mine. I filmed whiteboards. I took photos of them for my shots, just zoomed on my whiteboards. Took hours and hours, but that video is probably past 10,000 views right now. It's shooting up right now. I want to check in a minute to try and see if I can return to feeling any pride in life. And the videos like that, you never know. The reason it blew up is just because I was so passionate about making other videos that I had already made so many videos, both for the algorithm, for fans to already like it, to comment, for me to get better at video making as time went on and better at delivering my performance. So if you like making content, just make a ton of it and look out for critiques and good things. Look out for the things that you want to repeat and things that you want to change, and just keep making videos, maybe even of multiple forms. Like I make shorts, I make longs, and eventually, maybe you'll have people stumble onto it and start to build a little community like I'm magically somehow making happen right here. So this has been quite a whirlwind of a year. I hadn't posted a single combo class thing before April 11th of this year when I posted a few TikToks, and I had started filming the YouTube ones like right at the end of last year, but I didn't get that much filming right away from them because I had 2 surgeries to do and still somehow made it work. What a whirlwind of a year. Thank you, everyone. Back to the comments. Now, how many digits from E do I know? Someone asked. That's a good question. E is 2.718. And then I want to say it does something kind of similar to that after, where it's like more 2s, 1s, or 7s, or 8s, but I don't remember exactly. Now, pi, I remember a lot because me and my friends had a challenge back in the day when we were in middle school and just hanging out with my little geeky circle of friends. A few of us were like, I can memorize more digits of pi than you. No, I can memorize more digits of pi than you. And so when you try and memorize a long thing like that, some of it sticks in your brain, even if you don't come back to it much. And so just from coming back to the beginning of pi, my brain's ready to keep going. So I haven't like tried to restudy anything past 3.14, but I've stuck in my brain from middle school that pi goes 3.14159265358, something like 28972, blah blah blah. I got up through at least that part, I think. So a lot of pi is stuck in my head. And back in the day, the challenge was if we could get past 100 digits, and each of us memorized like 100 digits of pi as a challenge. That same era where we were like, can you do a Rubik's Cube in under a minute? And all various fun things as I was first discovering how cool numbers were. Now, someone saying here says, Seb knows how to edit. Not sure if they have the creativity. Seb, email me at combouniversity@gmail. It's just one word, combouniversity@gmail. And I would love to chat and see if there's any way for you to help anyway. People who have any ability of like editing or fiddling around with stuff in any way might be able to help me in the future, like cut down longer things into smaller side videos or make trailers for things or things like that. Or even if fans just want to mess around with random things that's combo related, I'm always happy to see it. There's like some graphic designers I chatted with once who made some funny logos that were cool. I still got to show you guys related to a logo that's related to 7-Eleven on TikTok. I didn't realize it was the night before the date 7-Eleven. It was 7-10. In the way where months go first, different places count the calendar different, but in the place where 7 is the month and then 10 is the day. That evening, I accidentally, maybe subconsciously, but I think it was a complete accident, made a video about how bad the numbers 7 and 11 are spelled in English and how they have too many syllables. And so any number that has a 7 or 11 in it has the wrong amount of syllables for its size in comparison to other numbers of that size. And so 7-Eleven are like this contagious, annoying syllable messing up thing in the how you write down words in English or write down numbers. And so I happened to post it the night before 7-Eleven, and then the official 7-Eleven, like that chain that makes like Slurpees and stuff, whoever runs their TikTok account, the official 7-Eleven account commented on it. This is a personal attack of me like roasting those numbers. And then I had a little back and forth with them where I made like another video that they liked. And so I asked 7-Eleven, I said, we can have a friendship or we can have an alliance, or we don't need to have an alliance if you guys don't want, but that might be trouble for you guys. And so 7-Eleven liked the video, implying they want to form an alliance. However, they didn't yet take up my suggestion to change the name of 7-Eleven to 9 plus or minus 2, which is 7 or 11. You could also go with, fourth and fifth prime. That's 7 and 11. There's also some polynomial equations whose only roots are 7 and 11. You could name it after that polynomial. I think those would be better names for them than 7-Eleven. So they haven't yet taken me up on that, so we'll see. But it is funny. I actually there's a 7-Eleven right next to the bank I sometimes go to. So sometimes I'll like go into the 7-Eleven and like buy a bag of chips and be like, the guy who runs your Twitter account is trying to have fake beef with me. I'll go along with it. So looking here, someone said a subreddit for ideas for combo class would be cool. I would really enjoy if someone wants to make a subreddit for combo class. I will post there. I never have posted on Reddit, or maybe I have back in the day on some account, but I don't think I've ever posted on Reddit more than maybe once or twice randomly back in the day. But I go on Reddit a lot. It's one of my websites I enjoy visiting. And so if anyone wants to, like a comment here said, make a subreddit for combo class, I think that would be a cool place for people to chat about related things to the videos, chat about topics that they're interested in that came up in a video, or make suggestions for future videos that I would be happy to incorporate. Or like with suggestions, some of them I might be like, oh yeah, I have some notes about that. I'll put that video on the front end of my list instead of the back end. And other ones it might be like, oh, I'll make a little short video, a little 1-minute thing to answer some of your questions. So that would be cool. I'll post there and check there. So yeah, that'd be cool. See if they got one that's for combo class, and if not, you could make one called Combo Lords or Combo Class Room works. I've found that if I need to book something that's not combo class, I get Combo Class Room instead. However, when I got comboclassroom.com for later, because I want to make a whole website that's a cool educational resource. I do a lot of writing, so eventually I'm going to have a website that's sort of like a hyperlinked Wikipedia-ish thing where pages have a video I've made on a topic and some paragraphs about it, and occasionally like a visual interface, like a game. And so I want to make a whole website during grade -2. That's probably going to launch like maybe in half a year. So I bought comboclassroom.com because comboclass.com was taken, although I don't think it's being used for anything. Or I don't know. I'll check. It's definitely not something used for something big. But then comboclass.org, I realized, was open. And org is less restrictive these days than it used to be. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? I am going to call myself an .org. Why the hell not? I'm trying to teach math. My goal is, and science and language. My goal is to teach I want to provide free education for people. Why don't I get to be a .org? So I bought comboclass.org. So there's going to be that too. But if anyone's ever making any random pages related to Combo Class, like subreddits or stuff like that, and Combo Class doesn't happen to be open, Combo Class Room is always a backup. And as for if you guys need to call yourself anything, I like calling you guys the Combo Lords, because I've called myself a Combo Lord in the past, and once I started teaching, I got questions from friends like, are you no longer considering yourself the combo lord now that you're considering yourself like kind of Domotro, a professor or sorts? And I was like, I'm still a combo lord, but now it's time to let others be combo lords as well. Time to teach the combo lord mentality and find other people who already secretly are combo lords all along. Now let's scroll down. I can't answer all of them. So I can't answer all the comments, but I'm going to get to whatever ones I want. People always feel free to spam whatever helpful question or comment you want into the chat. I do put a 5-second delay so nobody, like one time these weird robots came and started posting crazy stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see your that body part, guys. Come on. Um, so I put like a 5-second delay on when the posts can go. But apart from that, my actual fans spam whatever helpful comments or questions you got. But I'm not going to get to all of them. But I'm going to answer whatever ones I can. Someone said how old I am, and someone said you think 27. It's actually a little older than that. I just turned 29 recently. So people think I'm younger because I have A, maybe a slightly younger looking face or something. B, I have a kind of childish way of giggling at certain things or being in love with certain things that some consider childish. I watch a lot of cartoons and stuff. But I think that's a magic part of life. I'm a weird mix of like an old man and a child because I feel like I've gone through death from some incidents that occurred to me. And I also feel like, or maybe that's part of why. Maybe when you go through death, you're like, now I know what it's like to be like an old man, and now I'm reborn. I get to be a kid again, and I realize, oh yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff about being a kid. I guess one of the main ones that kids have that unfortunately a lot of adults could take more inspiration from the kids is curiosity. Find like knowing that there will be surprises. And adults are like they fall into a routine, sometimes forced to by society, sometimes by accidental choice, and the routine becomes not surprising to them. And I think we need surprises to find life magical. So remember, even if you have a routine part of your week, in the spare time, with your mind, with the right books, with the right nature, with the right conversations, you can definitely tap into surprises. So, someone's saying about a Discord server as well. I am happy if someone wants to start one of those to try checking that out. However, like I said, I'm not a tech whiz. I haven't used Discord yet. So I'm going to save that for a little down the line. If somebody made a subreddit, I would actually like know how to post in there. Um, it sounds ridiculous that I am old fashioned, but that's just because you guys see me through the filmed parts. And those are the things that I am good at doing technically. I'm good at making cameras work and stuff, setting up angles and stuff, because I've been doing that my whole life. But I'm not good at other types of technology. As my friends know, they always have to like use my phone to figure something out. Um, but others would like a Discord server. Feel free to make one. I'll join it at some point. Might not post in there as soon as I'd post in a subreddit, but make a Discord, comment the link on one of my videos so I see, and then comment the link if you make any of these onto this video after it posts, because it's then like apart from the stream chat, it'll be one of just a few actual comments, the ones that look like after the fact, not the ones that are like the stream guy that comes after it processes. Um, someone's combo class is taken. So let's see. Yeah, something like. Let me see what the subreddit for combo class looks like. That is, and while I take a peek at that, um, What was I gonna say? One of the comments asked if I watch anime. Oh yeah, so Combo Class has nothing on it. I wonder. Oh, is that the new one? Did you get Combo Class? Um, yeah, it looks like it was just created. Is that the new one you just made? Because that's great. Nice. Maybe see if you can capitalize the first C. Now, where is my account? I can try and log into my account at some point in a bit in the stream, and then um, whichever of you guys are actually making this type of things feel free to like be mod of the pages, as well as you can make me one too if it helps. But I trust whoever is interested enough in making pages related to this. I trust you guys to have good wisdom. And let's see. Yeah, so cool. I'm going through the comments. Yeah, Seb Stone. If you were the one who made it, Seb, thank you, or whoever made it. Or Can made it, Can Karabar or something. Awesome. Cool. So I'll look into that one later and we can make some posts on there. That's super exciting. If anyone wants to post whatever they want related to questions they have about math, related to dumb memes, related to other stuff. One thing I want to see at some point is after there's a few more episodes out or from the short ones, I want someone to make a compilation of all the times something breaks or shatters here, because those are the moments that when I look back on editing really make me laugh. Someone's asking if there's practical. Oh, so you made Combo Classroom too. Oh, Seb, because it already got made for sure. So Combo Classroom won't hurt to have that one as well. But Combo Class can work well as long as we all can get all of the main combo lords who I trust could theoretically get access to it. That seems awesome. So yeah, whoever made that one in particular, and whoever's interested between Seb and I don't know if your name is Khan or Can or Karabar. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that weird. You guys should shoot me an email too. Or whoever creates a Discord or stuff like that at combouniversity@gmail.com. I'll check that later today after the stream and see what cool online stuff we got going, which is exciting. Thank you guys. That's super awesome. Now, what I'm also going to do right now, sorry if this seems a little cocky, but I need to see how the Tetration episode's doing because it was flying up so fast on the main channel. So on my phone, I'm going to pull up real quick what the main channel's looking like. And god dang, the Tetration episode is at 12,000 views. Thank you so much to the world. Thank you to the aliens if the aliens are helping. Part of my philosophy is that you never know if aliens are watching in a future telescope or something. So if there's any aliens watching this weird sitcom going on, thanks, aliens. So yeah, that's awesome that the main channel is doing well. That makes me so happy. But let me take a peek if we got some more comments here. Practical applications of tetration. There are. I don't actually myself know the details of when they're used, but there are computer things, engineering things, physical things that tetration is helpful to use. So I can't give that many details on that, unfortunately. What I could talk about in a minute about tetration, I put a hexation in the title of this stream because hexation was like the one past the limit of what my main tetration episode talked about. You got addition, multiplication, exponentiation, everyone knows. Tetration, the weird one, starts making massive numbers. Pentation, we hinted at, because that's just absurdly big. And then hexation is like cursed. It has a cursed sounding name, hexation. And you want to know why hexation is cursed? Because if you hexate one to anything, you just get one. If you hexate anything to one, you get that number itself, of course. That's kind of basic. But here's where it's weird. You hexate 2 to 2, you just get 4. You hexate 3 to 2, it's like almost impossible to describe the number. There's like you could describe how big this insane exponent stack is. You hexate 3 to 3, and it's like really hard to even describe, like in terms of an exponent stack, what's going on with the number. So there's something weird about hexation where it's like 1 to 1 gives you 1, 2 to 2 gives you 4. 3 to 3 gives you a cursed, ungodly large amount that cannot be described by humans easily. So there's hexation for you. Um, Now, someone's in the middle of making Discord server. Any caps for the Gmail? I'll put it in here. I don't think it matters on Gmail whether you cap it or not, but it doesn't. So to be safer, put it lowercase, but I think it adjusts it either way. And someone's wondering if there's real world use of past tetration, which probably. And maybe those are phenomena that are hard for us to think about or describe. So I wouldn't be shocked if, like, electromagnetism has something that takes pentation to describe or something, and we're just not good at knowing that yet. Because if it shows up in nature, it's going to be hard to observe. It's going to be such a larger scale it seems infinite, or such a smaller scale it seems nothing, or like the same, like that example of 1 to 1, 2 to 4, 3 to bam. So I think maybe, and there's just a personal theory, maybe there's pentation and hexation lurking in places that are hard for us to observe, because unless you had the perfectest calibration, something measured by hexation would either be like the same amount, super minuscule, or super big. Someone asked if I have a girlfriend. I don't, unfortunately. I would love to have a girlfriend. That would be pretty awesome. I'm a little lonely in that regard. I spend a lot of time just with my notebooks and my editing and my filming. So I haven't spent as much time looking at socializing and stuff outside my friend group. But should do more socializing with more other people, because having a girlfriend would probably be good for my mental sanity. And I think that's all the comments for now. So, since I mentioned hexation was cursed, what else did I put in the title? I mentioned hexation, threevens, and shattered clocks. Now, the shattered clock I did hint at. Maybe let's take a little peek around the classroom and see if there's any glass I didn't clean up. Basically, what occurred yesterday, as you'll see in footage later, is this large clock, which is one of maybe my largest clock, but it's the lightest of my really big clocks. So it was getting some epic rolls down the table when I was holding it on the table and just like casually talking and then accidentally dropping it or it slipping out of my hands. It was getting some rolls that were like zoop, in a perfect line, sliding. There's this one short video on this channel where it goes like behind a whiteboard like a coin in a piggy bank. But then I got a little cocky about the ability for that to perfectly safely roll if it slips out of my fingers. So I kept grabbing that big clock and propping it on the desk, even though when it falls, it does not always get a perfect roll. And I think the desk got crooked another direction. Like, I think it's now not only slanted toward that green wall, but I think this side is more slanted than that side on the desk. So now with those edits to the desk, the clock slipped a little different and went and made a noise. And when I picked it up, glass fell. And I got to be careful with this. Don't want to mess up my computer. Over here is kind of the danger zone down here, where we have a lot of chaos. Those bricks also were from the threeven episode that I filmed for the near future. And in that one where we got paint on the desk, we also got these indents on the desk. I don't know if you saw them at any point, where bricks slipped out of my hands and made a few dents. There's also, if anyone can guess what common item is funny to see break and comes in a threeven amount, it is eggs. There's also eggs that break in the episode. Someone says RIP clock. That's Seb. And yes, I don't think it's fully dead. I think it still will survive until the rain. I think that the rain may like take its final toll on that, because now it's not protected by glass. But until the rain, I think that it still looks pretty good. And now I can manipulate it. Now I can adjust the times and play fun games. A fun fact that I'm going to share here that is a little bit of a spoiler of my upcoming threeven episode. Oh, no. This is from my modular episode that I filmed yesterday. That'll be in this. But even though this won't come out for a few weeks, there's a lot of other stuff that's cool mysteries that you'll see then. I want to spoil one interesting one I realized. I already mentioned how if you take a clock like this and add any number of hours to it, that same amount of times, starting from noon, you're gonna end up on 12, 1, 4, or 9. Even if I go like 27 hours, 27 times or something. And that's because those are known as the quadratic residues of this, and they lie on the diagonal of a modular arithmetic table for mod 12. But what if we were in 24, the whole amount of hours in a day? In 24, saying we're on a 24-hour clock starting at midnight, what if your number you pick in that game is a prime number and not 2 or 3, a prime number bigger than 3? Well, I could pick 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. I have tons of primes I could pick. Pick any prime on a 24-hour clock, add that many hours that many times, and you always end up at 1 a.m. And we'll see why in the episode. There's a few ways of justifying why. You can justify it in a modular way or in a way relating to a fun theorem about primes that's provable. Another thanks, aliens, in the comments. And yes, thank you, aliens. It is a belief of mine that when I talk about aliens, I believe there are definitely aliens somewhere in the universe. I don't think like there's UFOs and stuff. That's not the type of aliens we believe in here in Combo Class. I think it's pretty unlikely that aliens have visited the Earth, or that they have, like, in the form we imagine, like a spaceship of aliens came by in the past 100 years or something. I don't think any of those conspiracies are true. But I think that there's tons of aliens spread out throughout the universe. And I think there's certainly a chance that some of them could be observing us, or could at some point visit, or we could visit them. So, looking more, we got some more questions about my favorite number. There's a lot. I think a funny episode I want to make soon, like funny and informative, is going to be a tier list of numbers, or maybe a ranking of numbers, because it'll be like number 1, 0. Because the best number is 0. 0 is the best number. That is the coolest number and the most powerful number and the most interesting number. Apart from 0, because that sounds almost like cheating to pick that. It's like secretly being able to pick infinity practically. Apart from 0, 1, 2, and 3 have such fundamental importance, but they're kind of commonplace. So I'm going to give my favorite integer or favorite positive integer award to 6. 6 is, and I also used to say my favorite integer was 13, and that was less in a mathematical way and more in a cultural way, where people think it's unlucky. And I was like, let's flip that. 13's lucky to me now. So 13's lucky. That's cool. It's fun prime. But favorite positive integer award goes to 6, because 6 describes threeven evens. Mod 6 and base 6 are very elegant. 6 shows up all over weird equations and stuff. And 1, 2, and 3 seem a little too trivial to name, but 6 is almost as fundamental. And now other ones that obviously need a shout out are E, pi, and the golden ratio, as well as I'm going to give credit to the square root of 2 for being how much the diagonal of a square is longer than one of its sides. So those are probably my S tier, those numbers. And well, if you're talking about all of them, there's some really important constants that other numbers need to kind of interact with. So like -1, you want to throw -1 in the mix to be like, okay, we can use that. You want to throw I in the mix, and you want to throw probably a fraction, like 1/2 maybe is a good descriptor, that like 1/2 might be an S tier number. Now, are there any I'm missing? Those are kind of like, those are the kings of numbers. There's some really cool numbers, but those one, oh my God. Now there's other A tier numbers that are really cool. Like a lot of the small factorials are A tier numbers, like 24, 120, 720, 5040. That's a couple factorials in a row. Those aren't quite S tier numbers, but they're A tier. If you don't know what I mean, it's like in tier lists, S for some reason gets like the top tier in some people's lists, some weird old video game reference or something. I'm actually not much of a video gamer, so oh my god, I gotta stop touching this clock. It has broken glass on the edge. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna cut myself. Clock going over there. Somehow didn't cut myself. So I completely distracted myself because I just had a flash to my head like, why am I touching it in the spot I'm not supposed to touch it? There's actually still a little bit of broken glass like coming out of one of the edges of it. Someone said there was water discovered on another planet. I haven't looked that much into news like that recently. I used to like every week look up like what's new in the universe. These days I look up like, did they prove anything new about primes or anything? The news in math apparently is that a bubble related conjecture about minimal surface area from bubble like things touching has been generalized to higher dimensions in a proven way, known as the double bubble conjecture, which is such a cool, fun name. I want to make a short video that like is saying that they've advanced the study into higher dimensions very recently. Like in the last few weeks, they made an advancement. So that was the new thing I heard in math, but I had to like research a little more, like exactly how to describe it. So I haven't made a video on it yet, but I'll probably get to play with bubbles. And so I have a bubble gun that like shoots out a couple bubbles that I've done before some videos that you may have seen bubbles in. But I also bought a bubble machine. This is what I spend all my savings on. Weird junk to make you guys get entertaining videos. So in my bubble machine, I still have to get the right batteries or like plug it in or something, but I'll bust that out in a future stream. One of the future streams will be called Testing My Bubble Machine. And that hopefully will not be too loud. I don't know if it can be running during the take, but at least I can try and flood the combo classroom with bubbles, turn it off, and start filming. You know, bubbles aren't going to hurt anyone's learning. Someone asked what I do for a living, and right now I teach private music lessons to some students, but I've actually made a schedule where since I live at home with my parents and I have very like cheap taste, like I get most of my clothes used from friends or like really cheap at used stores. I get most of my clothes free. I get things like that. I don't eat hyper fancy. I have very low taste because I like spending my money on my art and stuff. So I managed to only work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday teaching private lessons. And then during those days, I still film and read and write and stuff. But I mostly have Thursday through Sunday dedicated to combo class time. So right now, that's working for me to have 3 days where I teach private students. If combo class doesn't do good in the future, I would need a 4th or 5th day. But I'm hoping it goes the other way, where I can get down to just like 1 or 2 days of private students, just for some of them I've had so long, I like being their mentor. And then if I had like 1 or 2 days and then even more time to spend on my combo class, that could be coming in grade -2. But right now I have about 8 or so private students taking lessons with me. And a lot of them are actually on music because I teach music theory and I teach piano, guitar, ukulele, beat making, stuff like that. And so most of my students right now are learning things like piano and songwriting. Now, someone's wondering, saying I might have been invented because someone couldn't solve a math problem historically, and that is true. You have to, well, there are various people who stumbled onto I, but one of the main times was related to trying to get a cubic formula that was similar to a quadratic formula, and places like that where you stumble into it being really useful, kind of like you incorporate negative numbers into equations, and a negative number isn't something you can hold up in the real world. It describes something in a more abstract way. You kind of can use I to describe things in an abstract way as practically as negative numbers in certain contexts. And so it was discovered. And then Rene Descartes, cool guy, good philosopher and stuff. But one thing I'm going to say he did problematic for history. Rene Descartes was a hater of imaginary numbers, and he made the name imaginary stuck stick. And he called them imaginary numbers because he didn't understand them. And after that, people proved they were important. And now they're named imaginary numbers because Rene Descartes, the hater of imaginary numbers, made the name stick. So they were named as a roast and it stuck. Terrible. Complex numbers, too. Bad name. Does not mean complex like hard. It means like you have a housing complex. It means things grouped together, things made of multiple different things. A complex number is partially real, partially imaginary. And the root of the word is much more close to like a housing complex than complex means hard. So now they've named these fundamental things imaginary and complex, which is a synonym for hard. No wonder kids hate these things. They're great numbers that do not have an easy way to get introduced. It's like, here, I want to teach you something. There's a new type of number. It's called an imaginary number. And when you use part of it, it's called complex. That's not going to hook any kids. So I've seen some suggestions that we call them something like lateral numbers, because really they just describe a new dimension, a new direction that you could add. Like you could have positive, or you can have positive and negative. You can now have another axis. So it's really like some term that meant orthogonal or lateral would be much better than imaginary. So someone's asking about other developments. I don't think I've heard that. I need to look more into news. I kind of get a little funny fact about news is I get a little sidetracked by old books too, because I think old paper books have so much good stuff to learn from. The one I'm reading right now, I have right here. I'm reading a bunch because I like to flip back and forth through many. But one of the ones I'm deep in right now is this one called Recreations in the Theory of Numbers. I love this book. This is magnificent. It's becoming one of my favorites. And it's pretty dense. Like there's going to be like a lot of numbers and a lot of dense stuff in there. But it's so beautiful. It keeps telling me stuff that like either I already know and I'm like, cool, good to have that reminded, or that I didn't know. So I love reading old paper books. And this is a funny example of how you do have to be careful of analyzing where they came from in history. This book was written before Fermat's last theorem was proved by Andrew Wiles in 1993, or full proof with the adjusted version a year or two later. And so this question of can a cubed plus b cubed equals c cubed have integer answers? Or can a to the 4 plus b to the 4 equals c to the 4 have integer answers? Are there any a to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n with integers, but where the n is more than 2? Now we couldn't find any, and Fermat jotted in a margin that he had proved it, and we still don't know if he had or not, because he probably had a wrong method because it was really hard for Andrew Wiles to prove it. But Fermat was like, yeah, I proved it, but this margin's too small to contain it. And the historians are like, what? So that's a good classic tale. I think I already went into that in a stream, so I'll skim over that part and note that this book, being written before that was solved, has a whole chapter called The Stone Wall. And this chapter called The Stone Wall is describing that problem that's been around since the time of Fermat for hundreds of years, and how it hadn't been solved yet at the time of this book. And it was like a brick wall in the way of certain number theory developments. So it's really interesting to read before it was solved the perspective. All the other math is true, but then there's also updates where it's like, oh, wow, that unsolvable one has become solved. And that was a big one. If you had to describe just the biggest developments of math changing, Fermat's last theorem was by far one of the biggest of the last century. So shout out to Andrew Wiles. Shout out to the other mathematicians. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Ken Ribet and people like that who helped with the proof as well. And also yeah, all the great modern mathematicians. Speaking of modern mathematicians, I think my favorite and the best like mathematician out there, my favorite math people are like math creators like me who make videos online. But my favorite person who is like doing epic math for the like humanity and everything is Terence Tao. Terence Tao is probably the greatest living mathematician. So look into him if you want to learn some things about a guy who has made incredible developments about primes and other fields in just like such cool experiments that he goes down elegant writings, and he has discovered and proven so much. And my other favorite modern mathematician who passed away recently is John Conway, a brilliant guy who just played around with games and through his investigations of games came into such cool discoveries. Now, checking back at the comments, as you guys may notice, when I rant, I don't like to read the comments. I feel like it's more just true to myself and to the viewers and the future viewers to just, tell you guys what I'm thinking. But then every like 3 minutes, I'll check the comments and answer which ones I can. So, peeking back on their improper fractions and stuff, ooh, don't get me started on fractions. After this stream, I'm going to go back to editing my episode about continued fractions of the infinite form. Infinite fractions. So if you guys want something to chew on, how would I try and write an infinite fraction of a square root of a number and like square root of 2? Like maybe I want to go 1 plus some amount because it's about 1.4 something. Then it's going to be 1 plus 1 over what? What if I can make it really complicated and keep making little fractions in there? How would I try and get to square root of 2? What about the golden ratio? How would I try and get to those? There's been some hints in my short videos, but we're really going to see a tumble down that rabbit hole of infinite continued fractions in the next episode. And I think it formally is going to prove to you guys that fractions are better than decimals in any shape or form and in any base we're writing in. No matter what base we're writing in, fractions are better than decimals. So that's kind of the thesis statement of my next episode. And the reason we had to bust out the infinite ones is that when you say like a finite fraction, like 1/3 is better than 0.3 repeating, most people are like, yeah, I'm with you. But then when you say that fractions have better ways of describing square root of 2 than decimals, people are like, how? So I had to bust those out to explain that even with irrational numbers, fractions are better in every shape or form. Also, I had to even break a little whiteboard to show you guys that if I'm trying to describe a stack of whiteboards, decimals make it a lot harder. So now I have about, well, I didn't throw away the other part, but if I lose the bigger part, I'm going to have about 40 1/3 whiteboards. We got some more fraction fans and some threeven news. Yeah, so I did mention threevens earlier, but I'll give a refresher statement that my full first episode on the main channel that gives like a full thesis statement of many reasons why threeven should be in the dictionary is 2 episodes from now. So I'm putting out the next episode about fractions in a couple days, and then in like a week from there, I'll have the other one edited. I'm editing these ones, so it takes me a week, along with all my filming and stuff. But when I get in touch with more editors, we'll make everything we can. But the threevens are going to have a good pitch then. So I'm going to have my full threeven episode drop in about a week and a half. And then from there, hopefully I convince a lot of people that threevens are an important fundamental thing. And if even gets a nickname, so should threeven. We don't need a petition for Throd to get in the dictionary, because if threeven gets in the dictionary, Throd was just going to follow a few years later. Like a few years of threeven being used and being in the dictionary, Throd's going to get in too. So we just have to get threeven in and keep threeven in. Throd will follow. But so for threevens, that full episode, pretty long and chaotic, filming it on a different new camera with one of my friends, and it's chaos. The bricks dented my table. I got paint everywhere, but it shows you guys that threevens are all over, and like in math and in nature. And so after that, once I've convinced a bunch of people, maybe like 5 or so episodes after that, will be an even more official threeven one that will be like a trailer for a petition. And then there'll be a petition for people to sign. In between, there might also be some more threeven like refresher extra bonus packs, which are going to include pure threevens, a nickname for non-zero powers of 3. By non-zero, I mean like the 0th power of 3 is 1. But if we just count powers of 3 with an exponent of 1 or greater, I consider those pure threevens because their only prime factors are 3s. And pure threevens show up all over fun logic puzzles in this thing called integer complexity. They showed up in all sorts of cool places. So pure threevens are going to get an episode. And there's also going to have to be a full episode about how absurd our million, billion, trillion, illion system is. Base 10 sucks, and that's a threeven related episode because one of my biggest gripes about this system can be stated in one sentence, and this sentence is this describes my frustration at the modern world. So if I use the term illion to mean a big power of 10, like million, billion, or trillion, none of the illions are threeven. We'll never encounter an illion that's threeven. Why? I bet you those aliens, if they have any similar numerical base to us, which they don't necessarily, but if their base has any similarity to ours, I bet you it is either base 2, 3, 6, or 12. Watch. Those are the best bases. So, how do I feel about base 6? A comment asks. By far the best. Base 6 is the best. I love it. Base 12 at first. When I first realized how dumb base 10 was, you get a little hook, line, and sinker from what's known as the dozenal or whatever community of people who want base 12 to be the thing. I totally support switching from base 10 to base 12. However, after enough research, I realized I prefer base 6. It has many of the same patterns that base 12 has in a more elegant, simple way. Its times table is neater. Its last digit or modular table is neater. Its fractions neater, and base 6 is just really nice and elegant. This is going to sound weird, but I even invented a whole new language for the 6 numbers. There are 6 ways of combining curls in a certain way. I'll show you my base 6 language at some point. Base 6, I realized, is the magnificent one, and it also works perfectly with threevens, because remember that threevens are not trying to kick evens out of the picture. Threevens like evens. They want to share the credit with evens. So to have evens and threevens both in the picture, you want base 6. Base 12 is almost as good as base 6, but it has sloppier aspects. So base 12, I would be totally okay with transitionally going to there from base 10, like add a few before we subtract a few. But here's the long-term picture, guys. Since base 6 is better, say goodbye to the digits 6, 7, 8, and 9. The digit 6 is going to be 1, 0. The digit 7 is going to be 1, 1. The digit 8 is going to be 1, 2. The digit 9 is going to be 1, 3. Those digits are going to be gone. And here's when it's going to happen, unfortunately. I don't know if humans are going to be smart enough to do it in my lifetime. It might be after some asteroid hits and like society collapses and we rebuild. And when we rebuild society, we're like, they used to count in tens because they had 10 fingers. Hey, what about this? Each finger has 3 little sectors on it. The opposable thumb is different. It has a different amount there. It's different than other animals. It's the reason why we're so evolved, is our opposable thumb made us gain superiority. So why don't we count this as the counting device, where we say where we're at and count the fingers as how much we're counting? Well, we got 12 right there if you count the 3 finger joints. 3, 6, 9, 12, counting the joints. So come on, guys. So base 6 may not happen until after a societal collapse, but I'm going to plant the seeds, and maybe someday, if there's an alien who knows how to reverse time, they're going to come back and chat with me, because I know that base 6 is better, and I have some fun facts to share with those aliens. So we got some base 12 and base 6 fans. Now, base 10 might just stick based on convention, but you never know. I bet you when Roman numerals were around, people were like, those are going to stay forever. Why would we switch those? So, those are obviously worse. They don't have a 0, so they can't function right. But having bad fractions and stuff, base 10 has problems. Having none of your aliens be threeven. So I think that's most of the comments I was skimming through. I probably missed some. One last thing. Wait, see Devil's Post Pile in California. What's that? I live in California. I'll look that up. Hexagon shout out also in the comments. Hexagons are dope. Here's the thing about hexagons. Reason why hexagons are, oh, it's a national monument. Nice. I don't know Eastern California as much, but I've gone camping throughout my life and hiking through all of the California coast. And I have a deep spiritual bond and love for places around Santa Cruz and a little south of that and slightly east of that, around Big Sur, around the forests known as Big Basin and Henry Cowell. I have some beautiful memories in those woods. And so maybe I'll have to check out that other monument sometime. As you may know, I had to get 2 surgeries this year. It's the longest I've gone without camping in my life. And since there was a pandemic going on, there could have been other factors that would have contributed to me not going camping anyway, like the pandemic stuff. But for me, the surgeries added a whole extra layer of reasons why I don't do physical stuff. And so I have not gone camping in about 2 years or a year and a half, and that's longer than I have in my entire life. My next camping trip is going to be a slightly miniature one. It's not going to be camping, but it's going to be a little on the way there, is going to be visiting a friend's cabin, which is sort of like a miniature version of a camping trip if you spend a bunch of time outside. Cabins are pretty awesome too. Camping gives you a spiritual cleanse, but then cabins are sort of just like a better hotel. Also, I hate hotels. Hotels are annoying. I don't like how they smell. I don't like how they look. They creep me out. Cabins are the best. So, Roman numerals kind of stay. We use it for events. We also use it in music. Like if I want to say a 5-7 chord, I don't want it to look like 57, so I write V7. So for my students in music, I have to teach them the Roman numerals up through 7 because 8 goes back to 1. And so at least through 7, I have to teach even beginner students, like, if you want to know the deep underlying pattern here, you're going to see this thing called the 1-4-5 pattern written as IV, V, and then they might stick a 7 after this V or something. And then they're like, what? So Roman numerals, I do have to incorporate in my teaching still for musical purposes and others. It can be good to have a few types of number to combine and, show I'm using like this number, but with that number's trait. In fact, I came up with a way that I'm not trying to get people named like numbers, like that sounds machine-like, but in one of my fiction books I'm writing, I came up with a way for a theoretical society to name people or aliens after numbers that I think works pretty cool. You can't just name anyone after any number. That would work poorly. My system is different. Wait until you read my book about a multi-dimensional prank war. That's something that I'm really trying to work more on, is the fiction books that I have half finished and not fully finished. And in the future, you guys will probably see books from me that are a mix of, I don't want to say all the titles, but I'll give a little spoiler of a few ones you might see. You may see books that take place in a small town that's fictional that relate to a multidimensional prank war, relate to a small town detective shop, relate to a choose your own adventurous spiral that mirrors my own life more, relate to a chase between a cop and a criminal, and relate to a dice factory, and relate to other things. So those are just a few sneak peeks that hopefully will come out in my lifetime of a world I've been cooking in my head for a long time that I want to share. I also want to make math books that I want to make like a choose your own adventure book about threevens and throds and a lot of other fun math books. So I'm not going to keep this stream going forever. It's been going a little over an hour. So I'm going to pause or end it before super long. But if anyone has any more questions, they can pop them my way. And for now, what I'm going to take a peek at is what was going on with that creation of combo class and all that. Someone says, welcome everyone. Text them to become moderator. Yeah, so I will message from a account. Let me see if I can get into my Reddit account that I don't think I've ever posted from, but that I view from. So my username is Lord Domotro. Let me see if I can get in. It's going in. Okay. Get ready for a Lord Domotro. Let me take a peek here. Yeah, I don't think I've ever posted on this account. So the one called, if anyone's going on the Reddit ever, the one called Lord Domotro, and that's not saying I'm a lord that I'm better than any of you. Lord is something you folks can be as well if you learn all of the class rules that we're slowly all coming to terms with, including being a master of numbers, knowing how numbers relate to other aspects of life, being a loving yet powerful and strong person, and knowing that within chaos and destruction lies growth and new learning, among other things. There are a lot of traits of being a combo lord. Someone's wondering if threeven would work for base 12, and basically this is going to be more so in the threevens episode, although I did make a short video about this. I explain it more in the full episode. Basically, there are three, if we're doing bases, like binary being base 2 and we're in base 10, the base number itself could be threeven, or post threeven, or pre threeven. There are three types of number if we're looking at the 3 cycle. You got threevens, you got throds that are one more than a threeven, and throds that are one less. All of them are one of those in a cycle. Now, base 10 is a post threeven number. It's one after the threeven 9. Now, that gives our base the trait where threeven numbers have a digit sum where you add all their digits and get another threeven. That's because, actually, our base is one more than a threeven number, it turns out. So in a threeven base, like base 12, where the base number itself is threeven, we get an even easier superpower where threevens just end in a threeven number. Every threeven number would end in 0, 3, 6, or 9 in base 12. Additionally, the ones on 0 and 6 are threeven evens. The ones ending in 3 and 9 are threeven odds. Now, base 6 is just neater and more elegant, though. So I do like base 6 more, but base 12 does still incorporate threevens. It's just a little harder to describe like a unique 12 cycle. For the unique 6 cycle of base 6, it's all of the combinations of those 3 types of threeven or 2 throd multiplied by the 2 combinations of even or odd, giving you 6 possibilities that fall in a beautiful cycle for base or mod 6. 12, if you want to describe a 12 cycle that's unique, you have to use more complicated terms, like this is the only doubly threeven pre-throd or something like that. So base 12 has a little more repetition, a little more weirdos, a little less neat. So it's still awesome, though. Base 12 is still great, still works well. Probably my second favorite after 6 for what humans could switch to. And I know computer programmers are pro-binary, but it makes more sense to incorporate threevens into our binary, giving us base 6. So looking at the Reddit again, I have one here. I think I'm in as Lord Domotro. People can also message me on there if they ever want. I don't know how often I'll check it, but I actually use Reddit sometimes just to that's one of the websites I fiddle around with when I'm bored to find random videos, to find random facts about things. It's kind of like a time waster app to a degree, but it's my favorite out of one of those. And I find that it has a slightly smarter discussion in the comments on average than some other sites. Sometimes not, but maybe on average a better discussion in the comments there than on some other sites. So I've ended up having that be one of the ones I visit, although I do have to shout out my favorite websites of all time are YouTube and Wikipedia, best websites of all time. But Reddit's pretty cool too, and maybe I'll get used to using Discord as well, because that could be a fun way to chat with you guys. But I like this subreddit for combo class. Let me see. How do I become one of the mod ones? I don't know if the guy's still there who made it, so I'll message him after this stream. That's going to be boring for me to do on stream, so I'll figure that out later. In any case, all of the combo lords who have tuned in are super awesome, and I think I am going to end the stream pretty soon because I got a bunch of other stuff to work on. But I just wanted to chat with you guys and keep you posted about where we're at. Broken desk, got some more paint, got some more clocks shattering. And you know what? We're actually going to end this with a little celebration-ish type thing. Where'd my phone go? Oh, man. Okay, it's under the book. I was like, if I lose my phone in the combo classroom, it could be bad. It could be like under a giant heavy clock or something. So what I'm checking here is that tetration video on the main channel, because like I said, my main channel is my main passion project, and today is the day where one of the videos on there is blowing up far longer than any video ever has for me. I've had short videos on TikTok get millions of views. There's one within the 3 millions, another in the 1 millions, and so on. There's been shorts on YouTube that already have 500,000 views on this channel, but those don't give me the full sense of pride that the main channel videos do. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm still having trouble even feeling proud of that stuff, but I'm about to image, try and feel a little pride and gratitude. I definitely feel the gratitude part. I feel so thankful to everyone who watches my videos and who comments. Everybody who found this channel and who started just like commenting and learning about me. And the funny thing is, I want to say those of you who are new here, but it's kind of like all of you are new here because really I've only been posting on YouTube for a few months. I've been posting the long ones on YouTube since May, posting short combo class anywhere online, starting on TikTok since April, and only posting on this bonus channel since September. And so it's all pretty new. And I love all of the new ones who have joined me along here, especially those of you who have given multiple comments over multiple streams. You guys are super awesome, and I do remember those names that pop up many times. And I also just am so happy that so many new people have joined here. Now, for a celebration, I did bring out a little beverage. Now, a lot of people would celebrate with a beer or something, but right now I'm actually just having a sparkling water. Now, I actually am a guy who likes to party and have fun with friends and stuff, but I'm not allowed mentally and personally, with my own way I treat my life, to have this be a beer. And here's why. I used to drink a lot of alcohol. Not really in the form of beer, but I would take it if it was in that, mostly in the form of vodka and stuff. And I had a problem with it. It contributed to a very dark couple years I had. That was one of the factors of, was being a very heavy drinker. Now there were other factors and other problems in my life, but ever since, well, let me just go back and say that I had a very severe accident in January of 2021, last year. Not the January that just passed like 9 months ago, but the one before that. I had a very severe accident, and that's the time where I referred to where I say I almost died. I feel like I went through death and got reborn. Not that I felt that in the moment, but that after the fact, it's kind of like a holy shit, how am I still alive? This is actually still real feeling, not during the time I almost died, but after and stuff. And now I'm still building back my, not hating myself and things like that. However, even though after that incident, I did have some times where I continued to drink, in June of last year, on June 13th, well, I guess technically on June 12th, was the last day, not this June that passed, but the one before, the last day I had any alcohol. And I had a huge problem with it before. And I saw that I could have made another problem come. I could have made more contributions to more incidents that could have occurred. And I had enough crazy stuff happening in my life to have any more things contributing to it. And so, although I may still like to party in ways that I'll keep censored for now, maybe I'll tell you in grade negative too, alcohol is not a way I like to party. And my friends do. It's my friends drink beer and stuff because they know how to do it responsibly, most of them. However, I quit drinking last June, not the one that passed, but the one before. And yesterday marked 4/3 of a year that I haven't had a drop of alcohol. So here's a sparkling drink instead. I'll crack it open when I see how many people have watched my tetration video from Monday. Now, I just wanted to make that little note, not to seem boring, because, like I said, I got to stay confidential about all the fun that goes on at my parties and stuff. However, sometimes you got to see something that's a problem in your life and make a weird particular choice. Like, I'm going to be the guy who goes to parties where there's tons of alcohol around and I'm not going to drink a drop. And that was a choice I made the June before this one, 4/3 of a year ago in a day. And that's part of why I've been so busy here. So, if you know how to drink responsibly and you're old enough, have fun. I don't mind if anyone's here partying at my combo classroom. I don't care. People drink beers in my combo classroom if they know how to do it responsibly. But be really careful, because alcohol is a slippery slope that dragged me down it, and it can drag others down there too. And this is not a channel that's going to purely make alcohol seem like a fun thing ever, because there are dark tales, I could tell you. And instead of busting into the dark tales, we're going to focus on the good tales, which is that somehow I have, without finishing college, created an educational show, and without going to AA, quit drinking, and I'm here and we're alive, and I love the aliens and I love my viewers. And let's take a peek at how absurd it is of how many people will now have watched this tetration episode that I put out on Monday called The Rare Levels Beyond Exponents. My first main channel video that's past 10,000 views. And that hasn't really sunk in, but having the shorts hit a lot of views doesn't really register as like fully a lot of views to me, because it's like the shorts have a weird algorithm where it just goes on screens sometimes. Like if you're on the shorts page, they just show you one. All of the views on a full video got clicked, and those feel real. And right now, that tetration video has 13,000 views. It had 12 last time we checked. And thank you so much to everyone out there and to the YouTube algorithm for starting to like the main channel too. And whoops, I got a little sparkling water on the screen right there. And cheers, everyone. Love all of my fans. And that's awesome that someone commented that their 10-year-old son didn't like math and numbers, and now they love it from the channel and collecting clocks and dice. That is so awesome. Hopefully they continue to watch along with the channel, and remind them that if there's concepts on the channel, like if they watch full episodes that don't fully sink in or make sense, it can be good to watch things that are beyond your level of comprehension and trust them, and slowly come back to those topics until you get a full grasp of them. I remember before I fully understood math, before I fully understood certain topics, no one ever fully understands all of it. Before I fully understood certain topics, I would watch videos on like some of the greatest math channels, which to me are 3 Blue 1 Brown, Mathologer, and Stand Up Maths are probably like the greatest, and maybe Number File are maybe the greatest doing things on YouTube right now. Also underrated, I like this guy Zach Starr. He makes great math videos as well. Those are like the greatest math channels on YouTube right now, in my opinion, that I've encountered. And I do a lot of my time mostly just on paper books and stuff. And so a lot of the stuff I originally encountered, I didn't understand fully. And I just trusted and was like, I will see this topic again in the future. And now it's this thing in my horizon that will come back someday. And you still have those with math fields. Like there are topics that I don't fully understand where I'm like, okay, now I understand these first couple simple groups in group theory. But I don't understand that whole family of groups. That's another horizon over there. And so you'll always have more horizons. That was a little tangential rant about that's really awesome that somebody's 10-year-old son is watching along with these videos that probably only maybe half make sense to them, but I'm sure the half that makes sense, they're learning a lot from. And I think that people at any age could hopefully enjoy my videos. It accidentally worked with the name where people use combo class to mean like mixed ages in a class sometimes. Like a combo class sometimes is a term for when you have third and fourth grade at the same teacher, which I actually had for 1 year in elementary. Shout out Miss Mangle. She was so cool. Miss Mangle was the best. Um, she was actually one of my actually really good teachers, and that was because she diverted from the curriculum and taught us Hawaiian dances from her culture. And we learned with these little rocks to sing songs and click along songs from her Hawaiian culture. And the fact that she stepped aside from the curriculum to show us something really cool and unique that we were able to perform eventually made her be remembered as one of the greatest teachers ever I had. But I had a combo class, I guess we didn't call it that, but it was third and fourth grade, or it might have been second and third grade or third and fourth that I had mixed together with another grade. And it's funny that I named my show Combo Class, meaning more a combo of topics and meaning that the combo of how math things can show up in nature, art, and in this, and like the combo of different topics converging on some mathematical or philosophical idea. But it kind of works for the age thing too, because I like to think that all ages can enjoy my content. Looking at the analytics, it's you never know if people are putting their fake ages up, but it looks like there are a lot of people who are like college age or high school age, but mostly actually a lot of college people. But I'm sure there's a lot of younger people who put their ages older, which you do your thing. I don't care. You find whatever way you need to view your videos. I'm in support of sneaking around systems when you need to. Sorry, YouTube. Um, so I don't know about the analytics, but I do know that I like to think that my channel's for all ages, but it probably skews toward high school and maybe college. But hopefully, all ages will appreciate it. One of my dreams is to have my videos shown in classrooms, as well as being the type of thing someone would like watch for fun on a Saturday night. If I ever make a video that would be fun to watch on a Saturday night after you party with your friends, and also would be good to show in a classroom, that's when I know I've made a good video. So for my style, everyone has their own style. My style is a weirder take of introducing chaos into the math a little bit for the sake of captivating attention and showing that chaos contains math. Um, Someone says they're 21, and yeah, there's a lot of various ages of different ones. It's also been fun to chat with. I haven't chatted with any math creators on here on this platform, really on YouTube, but I chatted with some of the TikTok math creators. One of the guys who he was also wondering what audience were suiting his videos and like what grades they're good for. Also wrote a book along with his thing called Math Letters, and that's one that I would recommend if anyone goes on TikTok. This channel Math Letters, and the book he wrote. And he's also coming up with cool games and stuff. And he liked my videos too, so he said that if I ever want to incorporate any of his animations into my full videos, just ask and he'll send me the files whenever. And so I'm going to look at maybe incorporating this cool Sierpinski's triangle thing I like that he did into one of my threevens episodes, because he's done some really cool like pen on paper things with these like triangle games and stuff. But that just came to mind because he also was wondering with me when I was chatting with him, like, what audience really is suited for these. And it's kind of hard to gauge what audience you're going for. But I kind of aim it to be something that hopefully everyone could like. On this bonus channel, I might accidentally swear once in a while in like a live stream or something, because that's how I talk. But I make sure on the main channel there's no swearing; it's all censored. I don't know if I've ever sworn on this channel. I don't think so much. Maybe once or twice in a stream. But like on the main channel, it's all censored, so it's like the episodes would be called PG or something because they have a little like chaotic actions, but they don't do anything beyond me saying like damn or whatever. And so they are showable in classrooms and stuff, but hopefully I can make as much fun, chaos, and wildness in the episodes and be true to myself, who is someone who like talks freely and wildly and likes experimenting with things and treats burning something like a science experiment. Hopefully I can work that as much into the videos while still making them things that are digestible to certain age groups or people who are at a certain level of learning. Some topics like the tetration one maybe are good, and maybe that one did so well because It's a topic that often people are taught and then gets stopped. Like they stop teaching what's after repeated multiplication, what's after repeated exponentiation. They stop talking there. And so it's kind of in the back of people's heads. So maybe those would be the catchiest videos for the algorithm, would be ones that could make, or like to appeal to all ages, are these hidden topics that are like, um, you never really got answered in school. But there's also ones that are like you kind of need a background to understand. So some of the things I talk about get into the terrain of, you guys got to trust me here. This number does that. But that's a feeling I love that I get from books sometimes of, I don't know why this is true yet. I'm going to trust you that this is true. And someday I'll probably know why that's true. Um, if I make the effort. So, as usual, my recommendations for people who want to learn: read and write. It's, you got to just read a lot and you got to write your notes about it and you got to see how topics compare to other topics. Maybe I got lucky that I like writing. And so it feels like using a paper notebook or a digital typing, like I have a secretary type typing speed just because I've done it so much. It feels like second nature. So I can kind of think onto the page. Um, so I got lucky there, but it is really my recommendation that writing helps in addition to reading. Someone's saying they're showing their students the videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to do my best also to make on the main channel some like good 5 or 6 minute episodes, because those are going to help me get one every week out. Oh no, my battery's super low. Okay, no, it's not going to die yet. It'll help me get one out every week if I have some that are more like 6 or 7 minutes on the main channel. And it'll also make it maybe more likely that they suit a particular class setting of like, this is a little chunk of something to learn. So that's really awesome that people are starting to show them to students. Now, someone says, unless hell's a swear word, they don't think they've heard me. Swear words change over time. It's really weird what changes, Like, I think a lot of things should come down to intention, because I don't intend to hurt anyone with my words, but I do like swearing. And then there's other words that if I said them in any shape or form, they would hurt someone. So I never say certain words. But then casually, I say words that I don't want to put in the videos, just like, like something, something, things like that. I usually censor out if they make it into the full episode. And in fact, it's a rule on the main channel that I censor them out. And my logic for it is that on the main channel, if I ever want to swear on there, it'll be in an episode about profanity, about analyzing the history of profanity, whether it's good to ever censor things, words that, and I mean, there are words definitely that I don't say because they're not my right to say. But in general, a word just like the F word or whatever, when does it make sense to censor that or not? So I will do a profanity episode someday where in the profanity episode, maybe it'll be the first time I swear on the main channel. We'll see. I like the idea of doing science episodes where as I teach the topic, I do it. And that's why, guys, here's something I don't know if I've told you. I have friends asking if I want to get a tattoo with them sometimes, and I'm probably going to get a tattoo at some point. I don't have one yet, but I've told them I have to wait because I know what my first tattoo is going to be. Actually, I don't know what symbol or word it's going to be, but I know how I'm going to get it. My first tattoo, there's only one logical way for it to happen. I have to teach you guys about tattoos in a lesson and borrow my friend's tattoo gun and give myself a tattoo while I'm teaching you about tattoos. I'm aware I'll probably make it really sloppy, but I have that in the back of my head that I want my first tattoo to be me giving myself a tattoo during a lesson about tattoos to you guys. So we'll see if I can pull that off. Same with the profanity one. I'll probably first swear in the profanity episode. I don't know. They might go a little wilder in future grades, but I also want them to be things that are fully educational, can be shown in schools. I have no reason to really do things that teachers shouldn't show their students. I think personally I'm a good influence. I know that I do crazy looking actions with like fire and spilling things and knocking things over. And that's where it gets a little touchy of whether YouTube would ever age restrict stuff, which I hope not. But I swear, guys, I'm doing this stuff so you don't have to. So I'm doing this to capture the attention so you can just watch it, learn the physics of what clocks do on desks. I will demonstrate the physics of slanted desks and clocks that hang on not that, slightly precarious nails. Um, and I will demonstrate the physics of fire and things like that. And you guys just watch, and it's only to captivate people to trick them all into learning about math. And that's when I bust out my evil villain laugh. Not because I want to take over the world. I don't want money. I don't want that type of power. I want people to learn. So I bust out my evil villain laugh when I have tricked someone who thinks they hate math into liking a mathematical concept. Going down here, got some more really nice comments. And yes, swear words change so much. Seriously, I bet there's a word that like we've all said in these, one of you have said in the comments or I've said in the stream, that in the future will be offensive in some way in that generation, because things change. And so you do have to be careful of not over judging past things when things were normal for a time. But in the present, you also have to be careful of paying attention to the present and not saying words that are going to hurt people. So I don't believe in like super judging people if they accidentally say a word. I don't believe in like canceling people and stuff. But I do also believe in don't say words you shouldn't. Just like be a good person. Be a good person, and there'll be no reason to cancel anyone. So swear words are funny. I swear around friends, don't swear in the videos. But swear words and censorship and stuff is just a really strange thing. In any case, just be good people. Whether you swear or not, just be a good person. Um, any other comments right here? Not much. I mean, lots of nice comments. Just, I'm not able to answer all of them. I go off on rants on these streams. My battery's actually about to die, so I should say goodbye. I could plug it into the wall there, but honestly, I should get to some editing. I should get to some other stuff around the house. I think my cats need some petting also. I think my cats are going to be waiting for some good belly rubs. So, just in case nobody caught from before, we got Sage, the perfect silky cat, Dandelion, the fluffy alien wonderful love lord. And by perfect for Sage, I mean like perfectly composed. Dandelion's just as awesome, they're just as good, but Dandelion is just weirder type of good, as opposed to normal type of good. Sage is the cat you'd get if you made a perfect cat on The Sims. And then Dandelion's the fluffy alien lord cat. And they're majestic brothers, and I love them, and they're perfect. And the third cat, Sassafras, is the nicest stray I've ever met. He's never bitten or scratched me, and he's so nice, and he loves when I pet him now, and I start to lock him in the house, and he's like, I need an escape route. I'm just outside. And then I let him back out, and he's slowly getting used to getting locked in. And he's a good boy, and he likes when I scratch his neck. And his name is Sassafras. And my battery's about to die. And this was the longest run on sentence in a while. So, thank you so much, everyone, for commenting. Let's see where we're at. We are at 5% battery, so let's do an elegant ending instead of me cutting off mid-word. I will be back to stream before long. As you know, most days I'll have short videos for you guys. Some of them are still some reposts, but we're pretty much caught up, and then it'll just be new ones. We're getting closer to me being able to have enough people to make some money and dedicate more time to this and make sure I get a short video every day, stream a couple times a week, and a long one every week. Make sure you're on the long channel too. Just a couple days from now, I'll have that Infinite Fractions episode for you guys. Cheers to all of you. Careful with whatever you like to party with. Remember my reminder that it's been 4/3 of a year since I drank any alcohol, and that relates to how I've been able to do so much in this time. And I really, really love you all. Really, really love the aliens. And thanks, guys. I'm going to post or check on that subreddit and or Discord later so I can chat with you guys some more. Take care.